Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of World War W. As you can see, I am dressed very much for the occasion. So on the last episode, I talked about getting gaslit at Waffle House in what may very well have been the preemptive strike of World War W, where the Wages, they've had enough. They're trying to make me take an L. They're trying to turn it into World War L for Emp Lemon. But today we're going to be talking about a different story. An example where the Wages tried to rebel against me, but instead I ended up with a big fat W. W for win! Not to be confused with W for Wagey. Two very different things. So I'm standing here in front of the former location of a Gainesville food dining establishment known as Civilization. Well, that's right, Civilization. What a wacky name for a restaurant, I know. They might as well have renamed it to Society, because I, 5 years ago in this establishment, got introduced to the absolute depth and darkness of society. And it was all due to the negligent management being unable to corral their wagey, discontent employees. So today's story harkens back to around the year 2018. I, of course, was still in college at the time, and a bunch of my friends were visiting from out of town. So what better time than to show them the nice hospitality and ambience of a wonderful, beloved Gainesville dining establishment. And oh, what's a restaurant everyone recommends in town? Oh, the Civilization place sounds pretty good. It's got good reviews. Can't imagine I'm about to have one of the worst times I've ever had in any restaurant ever. So I believe it was a Sunday morning at around 11 a.m. when we pull in to the haphazard parking lot somewhere around there. Of course, not enough parking for anyone. Have to scramble around and wait for a few other people to pull out after they had their gut-busting, obesity-inducing meal. But you know, that's a problem common to many restaurants. What exactly was it about Civilization that ticked me off so much? Well, you know what they say about first impressions. First impressions are everything. Certain little sociology textbooks and HR, human resources people who work at an office will probably tell you that a first impression is responsible for 60% of your mood towards a certain person or thing. And in this case, here's what happened as soon as me and my friends, who I'm trying to show a good time in the town, my town of Gainesville, who everyone else hates apparently, but I'm trying to show my friends a good time in there. And what do we get? What do we get as soon as we open the door to this supposedly revered establishment? So we open the door, nice and hungry. After a night of college drinking, underage drinking and debauchery, we're hungry. We want some nice, yummy vegetarian food in there. It's a vegetarian restaurant, I might add. So before we get into what happened as soon as we opened the door, let me preface this by saying that this establishment right here, it's a vegetarian restaurant. Yeah, now, fans of the channel will know that I, of course, am plant-based. How do you think I got this green, after all? And as a morally superior plant-based vegan, we tend to tolerate those vegetarians slightly. They're at least better than these soulless, gutless meat eaters that are infesting our society, but not too far off. So this city-renowned restaurant, Civilization, was known as a vegetarian establishment, aka I don't have the discipline to actually become plant-based, so I have to slather all my veggies with disgusting milk and cheese and egg, saturated fat and cholesterol in order to eat it, because I'm too much of a hack to cut it as a real chef, so I have to cover stuff with butter and mayonnaise all damn day. But yeah, anyway, that's what you can expect at a vegetarian restaurant. Despite being vegetarian, they only had one or two vegan things. So already, the outlook was not looking good for me. My friends, maybe more, as they do not adhere to the superior lifestyle of myself. But anyway, if there's a stereotype about vegans and vegetarians, aside from being pedantic complainers, it's that maybe they're a little hippy-dippy, little carefree. They're smoking a bit of the grass in addition to eating it, so they're supposed to be a little bit relaxed, you think? Oh no. Oh no, the staff inside of this restaurant was the most uptight, uncomfortable, hateful, evil staff I've ever seen in any restaurant in my life. We open the door. I roll out the red carpet for my friends. Come on in. Come on into this local establishment that I picked out, that I recommended. My reputation at stake. My potential humiliation if this goes wrong. We open the door. We sit there for no less than 5 minutes. And when I say sit there, I mean stand there. Stand there right next to the doorway at the entrance of the restaurant until one of the evil demon waitresses in there, she basically gives us the evil eye and tells us to get the hell out of the way so I can serve the one table that's being served this hour. Waitress, hostess, whoever, I don't know if there was a hostess in there. We sure as hell weren't being hosted. You see, for those of you who aren't exactly privy to the concept of a sit-down restaurant, there's supposed to be this sort of role on the staff known as a hostess or a host. We don't discriminate by gender on this channel. We're not about that. But the people in there absolutely deserved to be discriminated against because it was the worst attitude I've ever seen out of any staff of people in any business in my entire life. Oh yeah, need I mention that the supposedly upscale establishment is right here, smack dab in the middle of the ghetto. There's a Popeyes 2 blocks down, if that gives you the caliber of area that we're in right now. But oh no, it doesn't stop our menu from having $25 entrees, $17 appetizers. It's one of these places. It's World War III, World War W, $3 sign on Google. So I at least have a slight expectation if we're gonna be paying this much for a prospective meal, it might as well come with ass-kissing, boot-licking service. But oh no. I don't know what exactly the appeal was at this restaurant, but people who go to this restaurant must be masochists. They must be like self-hating, BDSM, just people who get off to the idea of themselves being degraded and humiliated. Because I swear to God, man, the staff in there was evil. They're unruly and evil. It's like that episode of Jimmy Neutron, where Jimmy goes to the evil planet and sees the evil version of Retroville, where everyone just acts like the average Twitter user. That's what it's like in there of this supposed hospitality business. $25 entree, $17 appetizer. You get spat on. You go in the door and get spat on immediately by the unruly, cantankerous staff. We just stood there at the front of the restaurant, and this woman tells us to move aside, like no hint of irony, no please, no thank you, just she gives us a grumpy, disgruntled expression, starts huffing and puffing and says, "Get out of the way! Yeah! How dare you? How dare you stand at the front of the restaurant and wait to be seated? Oh, my mistake. I guess we're just supposed to go outside and sit in the hot, unforgiving Florida summer sun instead of just sitting here at the front. Where else are we supposed to go? Why do you have an ad? Why am I now the villain for wanting to be a patron of your restaurant with my party of 6? Oh, which conveniently has a 20% added gratuity. Thank you very much for that. $27 for an entree ain't enough. Forced 20% gratuity. $3 sign. Evil staff. Just completely evil people from the evil Jimmy Neutron planet. I never seen anything like it. It's like people are going in there with a humiliation fetish expecting to be spat on. Thank you for the $25 for this mediocre mayonnaise covered meal. Oh, but they add olive oil to it and call it aioli. Man, what are these affluent white people gonna think of next? I'm eating a bowl of mayonnaise, except it's aioli, so it's refined, it's fancy, it's elegant, because I'm having aioli. I'm not eating a bowl of mayonnaise. But anyway, $25 for mediocre food is not enough. 20% forced gratuity added, and apparently not enough to pay the workers to smile. And I'm not one of these people who requires their employee to smile. I get that most people out in the workforce today are having a bad day at all times, but you at least gotta try to not show your complete disgust. It was like we were cockroaches. It was like we were vermin infesting their establishment. This supposedly upscale establishment that's right here in the middle of the ghetto next to Popeyes. Oh, but we were the person who had to bow down to them, the wonderful wages working at Civilization for tips. We were the ones intruding on their space, the paying customer. We stood there, and now it was awkward because it feels like we're not welcome in this establishment. The paying customer is not welcome in the establishment. So we just stand there and stand. There's no place to sit down. I don't know. Apparently there's a hostess in there. Don't know where she is. We weren't getting hosted. We weren't getting seen. Maybe we wouldn't be standing there blocking the doorway if one person on your staff would find us too. There were plenty of empty seats. It was like half open. You wouldn't be able to tell. You wouldn't be able to tell from the wait time, which we're going to get to in just a bit. But it was half empty. This is before COVID, by the way. No COVID excuse. Just half empty restaurant, understaffed. So the arrogant owner, whoever the hell he is, nowhere to be seen. Staff, hostess, nowhere to be seen except for one angry, pissed off person constantly walking past us, acting like we're taking up all of her space when we're waiting to be seated for minutes. It's minutes and minutes past. Minutes and minutes and minutes. It gets to like 25 or 30 minutes before someone in there finally decides to get off their lazy ass and actually see us. Actually acknowledge that we're waiting at the front of the restaurant as customers. 25 to 30 minutes. And you know what they tell us? It's going to be an hour. I don't even remember how long it was, but it was at least an hour. It was at least an hour on top of the 30 minutes we had already spent just standing around waiting for someone in this godforsaken pre-COVID restaurant to actually see us and try to have any sort of resolution where, hey, hello, paying customers here waiting to be seated. Oh no, we have to wait for them. We have to wait for them to finish up their little sewing circle or whatever the hell they're doing back there instead of actually serving the customers. Probably doing some Fight Club type stuff to get them in a really bad mood to face the customer, because that's apparently the standard they enjoy setting in there. But yeah, 30 minutes to be seen by a hostess just for her to tell us with her grimacing scowl that it would be another hour wait. Another hour wait in this restaurant that, mind you, was half empty. My God, everyone, the dire labor shortage. It started before any of us even realized it. It started right here at Civilization. But yeah, we stood there embarrassingly for 30 minutes. My reputation to recommend good restaurants to my friend has fallen down the toilet at this point. I'm never going to be able to give any recommendation for a restaurant ever again and be taken seriously. Oh, and the cherry on top of this $3 sign restaurant, cash only. You know, I understand certain small merchants, they don't want to pay the 2% credit card fee that Visa or whatever imposes on merchants. I understand it, you know. I understand how it works. When you're a small business, just starting out, your margins are small, maybe you just don't want to pay that extra amount. And maybe it's reasonable to ask the customer to be a little bit more inconvenienced just so that your business can get its foot off the ground. Not Civilization, though. Mind you, this is a 10 plus year established restaurant in town. Everyone knows about this restaurant. It's extremely busy. It's extremely lucrative, judging by the number of glad-handing idiot people who continue to flood in there, even though they get treated like absolute crap and spat on by the staff. For whatever reason, people love the food, and it's incredibly successful restaurant, but we're still cash only. We're raking in tens of thousands in revenue every single service, and we're passing on that little 2% Visa merchant expense onto the customer. Oh, but yeah, we're Civilization. Probably one of the top 5 earning restaurants in town at that point. In this town of 100,000 people, probably a top 5 earner. And we're passing on that 2% expense onto you because, oh, cash only, massive inconvenience, everyone pays with card now. It's not 1932 anymore. But oh no, we could never possibly pay that horrendously daunting 2% merchant fee from Visa and MasterCard. No. But you know what we do have? We have an ATM. We have a Las Vegas ATM right there in the corner for all you people who are not aware of the cash only policy and we're just expecting to go in to a top 5 earning restaurant in town and pay with card. No, we have a Las Vegas style ATM right there in the corner of the restaurant for you. We will pay, we have purchased and we are paying to maintain and stock this ATM machine rather than taking a 2% extra merchant fee from MasterCard, because we really care about you, the customer, here at Civilization, the most customer-friendly restaurant in all of Florida. So yeah, you stupid, idiot, cockroach customer, you're gonna have to slink down to that ATM machine and pay a 10% Las Vegas style surcharge to get your own cash out of your account so you can pay with our 19th century money policy. And at that point, when I realized it was cash only, I just walked out the door. I said, sorry guys, we're going somewhere else. I know you guys already waited 30 minutes to 45 minutes and you're hungry and you're hungover and you want a nice sit-down brunch in town to commemorate this rare experience where you all are visiting me in town. No, we're not going here. That was just a complete loss. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry. I screwed up by thinking that Civilization could be anything other than a complete waste of time that made me feel like a piece of shit. So we just drove 10 minutes away and went to East End Eatery, and it was fine. It was a perfectly decent meal. But I never forgot. I never forgot the shame and humiliation and intimidation that this establishment made me feel. It truly was, and it remains to this day, one of the worst experiences I've ever had in any restaurant in my entire life. And we didn't even get to the point where we could try the food. It was that bad already. And the mayonnaise slathered food, which I'm sure would have been mediocre, that didn't even enter the equation for this to still be one of the worst restaurant experiences of my life. But oh, what do you know? A couple years later, COVID rolls around. And what do I see? What do I have the pleasure of seeing on my local news feed? Oh, little restaurant named Civilization, shutting down, closed forever, bankrupt, bye-bye. It was nice knowing you while it lasted. Oh, how people in town were sad. Oh, I was not sad. I was extremely, extremely happy, extremely vindicated to see that this god-awful establishment filled with evil, evil people was finally shut down and bankrupt for good. And it gives me such joy that I can stand here and do the Fortnite dance in front of their permanently closed establishment, because that's what they get. Restaurant owners and fake wages in disguise who think they're above it because they somehow own the establishment. This is a message for you. If you have the pleasure of serving me in your crummy establishment, you better be gracious. You had better not treat me the way these people in here treated me. Or else doom is coming in your future. You will go bankrupt. I will will the spirits of the downward spiral and smite them upon you to bankrupt your establishment. Be gracious and be kind, and don't spit on me for trying to become a patron of your establishment, or else you will go out of business. Mark my words, I will put you out of business. And I will come back 2 years later and do a Fortnite dance in front of your closed establishment. I will put it online for my audience to see. I will make money complaining in front of your establishment. So don't cross me. Don't get on my bad side, or you know what the hell is coming. Keep your wagey, disgruntled employees in line. Keep them in line. We all know they hate their jobs. We all know they hate their lives and they hate the customers. Corral them. Put the sheep back in their pen and train them to suck it up when it comes to hating the customers. We all know they hate the customers. It's the job of you, the management, and the arrogant, egotistical owners to put that crap away and make me have a good dining experience and not be humiliated in front of my friends when I give your establishment a shot with 6 brand new customers. Do not squander it. Trust me, it may not look like it here, but I'm a very generous person. I am very generous. But do not expect me to show mercy when you show me nothing but disrespect in front of my face and make me stand there like the unwanted bastard family dog Like you're gonna put me out on the damn porch for daring to want to go to your establishment. You will. You will go out of business. I will dance a Fortnite jig in front of your stupid restaurant, and I will laugh about it. And all the followers of the Downward Diary will laugh about it too. Do not employ the morally bankrupt, or I will bankrupt you.